What's going on, guys? Back with another video. So we're going to be doing some real eggnog today. I know a lot of you guys have had the stuff from the store that's not real eggnog. It's got a bunch of artificial sweeteners. So we'll start with 3 cups of milk. Go ahead, put it in a saucepan, and what you're going to want to do is put this over medium-low heat. You don't want to get it to boil, just heat it up enough. Once it starts steaming, then you know it's ready to go. In the meantime, we're going to take 6 egg yolks, go ahead and dump them in a stand mixer. You can use a bowl and hand whisk if you want. And what you're going to do is start beating these eggs, and you're going to slowly drizzle in sugar. I'll have all the measurements on jacksonfamilyfoods.com for you guys. So you see here, I go ahead and I start beating the eggs. As I'm beating the eggs, I'm going to slowly stream in sugar. You'll see that on the right side of the screen. And you're going to want to stream in maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons at a time. You don't want to do too much because it'll get really clumpy. This is going to give you the best consistency. It's going to stay nice and smooth. And closer to the end, once the sugar starts incorporating, you can go ahead and dump a little more in, and it's going to get a slight doughy texture. That's what you want. Once you get to that point, your milk should be just about ready to go. Now, if your milk's boiling, let it cool down a little bit. You don't want it to get that hot. You just want to see like a little bit of steam coming off. You don't even want it simmering yet. And what we're going to do is something called tempering the eggs. And what you do is you put about a ladle full of milk in. You'll see me do that right now. I keep whisking it. What's going to happen is you put a ladle full of milk in, and that's going to kind of start bringing the eggs up to temperature. If you pour all the milk in at once at that temperature, it's going to curdle the eggs, and it's just going to spoil the whole batch. You're going to have to start over. So a ladle or 2 at a time. And once you start feeling the bowl get a little bit warm, then what you could do is you could dump the entire thing into the mixer, or you could just take the egg mixture itself, dump that into the pot on the stove, take about 2 tablespoons of vanilla, pour that in, and just let it go over the stove for about it took me about 5 or 6 minutes. And what you're waiting for is for it to thicken up. Now, you see here, I added the rest of the milk and see how it fills up the bowl. I'm getting a bunch of little air bubbles in there. Now, after it was all mixed really well, I threw it back into the pot, turned it back on to medium-low, and I'm just going to keep mixing it really, really slow. I switched to a silicone spatula here. Now, you want to be careful. It is hot, but you do not want this to come up to a boil. You do not want it to simmer. If you do, it's going to ruin the whole batch. So what we're going to do here is just keep mixing. When it gets close to the consistency you want in your eggnog, then go ahead and stop, because remember, it's going to thicken up a little more once it cools. Now, here's the thing, guys. That store-bought eggnog, like I said, it's got all kinds of preservatives and additives and everything to it. It's just not good. I grew up hating eggnog, and then I tried this for the first time, and I fell in love with it. Now, what I ended up doing towards the about like the 5 or 6 minute mark, you see I just left it here, let it heat up a little bit. I started to mix it vigorously right here, and you can start seeing it's thickening up, and it's starting to get that consistency like regular eggnog. Now, what I did was I took a regular metal spoon, dipped it in, and once it was able to coat the metal spoon, that's how I knew it was ready to go. Now, it was about another 5 or 6 seconds after this, stirring it a little bit more, dip the spoon right back in, and it came out how I wanted. So then what you're going to want to do is take another pot and fill it up with ice water like so. Dump that first pot into it, and you're just going to mix it in. What you're doing is trying to cool the mixture down. You don't want it to cook anymore. The eggs are done. You're going to add in your heavy cream, and this is when you're going to add your spices. So I added some nutmeg, some ginger, some cinnamon, and some ground clove. And if you're going to add your whiskey, this is the time to do it. A lot of people, you like to use brandy or scotch. And what you can do is keep using the rubber spatula like I was doing until I remembered I have several whisks in my kitchen. So I abandoned the rubber spatula right about here, got the whisk, and got all of those seasonings ground up in there nice and fine. Then, yeah, guys, once this is cool, it's done. Like, just take this, transfer it into a serving vessel, put it in your refrigerator, let it chill, serve it over ice, and that's it. That's homemade eggnog, guys. Now, this tastes nothing like the store-bought stuff. I was just taking this stuff in a glass with some ice. Go ahead, pour yourself a nice, this is the thickness that I like. Pour yourself a nice glass, and what I like to do is I like to take a little bit more freshly ground nutmeg, just pinch that right over the top, and garnish with a cinnamon stick. Take that and enjoy it. You guys have to try this at least once. If you guys are those people who don't like eggnog, you haven't tried this. This is the real deal. I keep saying that, but give it a shot, guys. Thanks a lot. Hope to see you guys soon.